right, welcome back everybody to Coffee and Art in the Morning. Now in the close to the afternoon, we're going to work on, we did a Happy Mail stream. We did a working on my portrait commission, which I got permission from the commission permission to show you that and work on that for about an hour and a half. And now we're going to do a little bit for another hour or so in the napkin journal. And yeah, so I hope y'all are enjoying the Friday streaming. You're welcome, Terry, and everybody. Thanks, everybody, for being here. If I miss saying hi to you, um, yeah, I'm sorry. I miss saying hi to you. Okay, so right now I've got a big rubber band around it because I stuck in extra napkins. Oh, well, we didn't need that rubber band, did we? So I stuck in the extra napkins when we were doing the napkin show the other day, the ones that have already been partially used or the back's already been taken off of. So I've got more here to add. But what I want to show you now is the ones that I've already got in here. We only have one page done. I think we're okay. It's a little zoomed in, but I think that's going to be, it'll still work. We'll be okay. So this is a day book. I've shown it a couple of times that my sister, it's you can see it there. It looks like a faux leather. I keep saying leather. Ledger. Let me measure it. It's from 2009. She sent it to me for my birthday. It's like about 7 by 12. Is it 12? Or, yeah, 7 by 12. It's a faux ledger book, and it's like a date book. But I don't, y'all know me. I don't do much with the dates. But I love the book, and I kept it. And now we have found something to do with it. I've turned it into my new napkin journal. So if y'all have never worked with napkins before, let me get one that's already peeled back here. Thanks to Terry Trouble, who peeled some for me. Uh, there's usually two backings, layers of white paper behind them. You want to take that off because it won't glue down properly if you don't. The other tip I tell you is if you want it to be nice and vibrant, where's a piece of white? If you want your napkin piece to be nice and vibrant, to start with a piece of white paper as your base, because there you go, you can see the difference. If I glue this on brown or if I glue this on white. So it's best to start. Yeah, I am behind on the napkin. Yeah, no more napkin giveaways. I'm at my napkin giveaway limit. It will be weeks before I get all the napkins sent out. Just saying. No more napkin giveaways. Don't email me. Well, you can email me, just don't ask for any more napkins. Yeah, you can get tons of them at Tuesday morning, right? Okay, so you can see the difference if you glue this on brown or some kind of a sprayed inked background versus a white background. It's just, so if you can, you want to start with a white base when you glue something down. Even though they come with a white base, right? When you have them without the backs off, if you try to glue it down with this on there, it's just not going to work. Yes, I am recording. Thank you, Carrie, for reminding me, but yes, I am. So you want to take off, usually there's two layers of this white backing. You want to take that off so that it glues well. All right, so let me do a quick little flip through my napkin journal and show you what I plan on doing with this one. And we'll do a little bit of work in one. That would be nice, Lysenia, but I don't. Except Denise when she comes over to help me sort and clean and throw things away. She's a good assistant for that. So this is what the inside of the book looks like. It's already like pattern paper. And then this was, it's called the Poetry in Nature 2009 calendar. And it even came with a ribbon in it. And so I've already glued napkins. And it sounds like they're sticking. They're really not. What you're hearing is the texture of the napkins kind of, I don't want to say sticking because they're not really sticking, but they're attached. It's kind of like Velcro. You know how Velcro will attach itself? Well, napkins have a texture. Even after they're glued down, there's a texture to them. So it almost kind of acts sort of like a Velcro when you keep it closed in a book. But so far, I've never had any, as long as they're dry, 100% dry before you close them, they shouldn't stick or rip up. Okay. Oh, thanks, Pam. Thanks everybody for being here. Your nice words. Okay. Here, well, then right here, Prisma is a page where we've incorporated napkins, and I'm just kind of move up and down, but I'll keep it kind of zoomed in because it's you can see more detail. This is a napkin. This is a napkin. This is a color book cutout, and this is a color book cutout. Again, I'll give you a few tips as I'm going through. When you add any kind of mixed media, whether it's collage or a color book page or anything like that, well, not collage because you can collage on it. If you want to add a color book cutout into your on your napkin, you want to color it before you glue it down. If you try to glue this down and then color on top, you're going to pick up the texture of the napkin. Know what I mean? Let me show you. Piece of scrap paper here and a pencil. You know how you do rubbings, if you've ever done a rubbing before. All right, so let's just say we had something here to color. If you try to color, on top of a napkin, see the texture you're picking up? You're picking up the napkin texture, so you're never going to get a smooth blend like that, or smooth if you try to color on top of texture. Okay, so you want to do your coloring off the napkin or off any kind of mixed media page. Actually, if I had collage down here, it'd be the same thing. If this had a collaged edge to it and I tried to color on that, you'd be picking up that edge, right? Thanks, Terry. Yeah. So this is the only one I have finished in this book. So what we did is napkins, paint, glued down color book pages, and then painted in the antlers to turn them into branches. That's all painted in. Her antlers ended right about here in the color book. This is from. Let me show you the book. She is from the Big Monster 34 original drawings by Juliet Crane. That's from this, and it's a square, like is it an 8 by 8 or so book, and you can see all her little girls have antlers, right? Pretty much all of them, I think. So we have used a few of these in poster size napkins. So whoever it was that just said they'd never seen napkins used in a journal, in an art piece before, I'll show you those in a second. So they ended about right here. And then we just painted. I say we because you're here. And if you're watching this on recording, this is a live show on ustream.tv with a live chat, mostly live. Jean, mostly. Jean might be asleep. I tease her. She's probably up till 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning working on her wedding gift for one of her relatives. So she may be sleeping. We tease Jean about sleep. She likes to nap in my streams. So anyway, but it's a live chat with live people, and so I'm talking to live people. And so when I say we are doing something, we painted this, we did that, I'm meaning the people that are here with me live, because I feel like we did it together. Oh, you are for a bit? Okay. So yeah, so it leaves a texture. So when you turn the pages, it may sound like some of them are sticking, but they're really not sticking. They're just like the texture is kind of touching. But I've never really had, as long as you let them dry, never had any of them tear up. I do not use Mod Podge. I had somebody else ask me that the other day. I do not use Mod Podge. I use Golden Matte Medium. Let me show you one of the jars. It's a small one. I keep this one handy for. This is what I use. Golden Matte Medium. It's not gel. It's not matte gel. It's just plain matte medium. It's very liquidy. Very liquidy. And that's what I use. It's not cheap. If all you can use is Mod Podge, then you use it. But I would recommend you putting pieces of wax paper between every single page. Anyway, so this is my go-to art supply. If I had to run out and buy one thing This would be this. Okay, so I'm just going to show you where I've glued napkins down, and they're ready to go, ready to add something to them. All right. This is the inside of the book as it came, with a poem and some like faux ferns there. This is what every, I think it's a, it's a year long, it's a 2009 diary, right? And I think every couple of months they put one of these in there. So you can just see all the different napkins I've added. There's some pages that are not done yet, or not don't have a napkin added to them yet, and that's why these that are already ready to go, I'm not going to do that today because we don't need to show you how to glue a napkin down again. We did that a couple of weeks ago when we did most of these. Some of these I did off camera. So I've got two pages here to do. And the other thing I recommend when you're doing a bunch of gluing, whether it's in a magazine journal, any kind of art journal, where you're adding a lot of mixed media, glue, paint, whatever, is to work some in the front, some in the back, some in the front, some in the middle, some in the front, some in the back, to keep your spine relatively flat. If I just keep going front to back, the whole spine's going to go like, well, I don't want to do it, but it's going to warp the whole spine. So if you're doing a lot of gluing in a journal, a mixed media journal, do some in the front, some in the back, some in the middle, like that. So you can see, well, I love this one. I might work on this one today. I just like it. And so you can see all the different napkins. Again, this is one. There's another napkin. Oh, I did two poppies. Oh, okay. Um, this is what came in the book. So you can just see some of the. This one I cut the napkin up into bits. None of it's on here perfectly because it's all going to get paint and collage and all kinds of stuff on it, right? This is just like it'll be like my color inspiration. Okay, this one's two different napkins. The butterfly was already in the book. That was already printed in the book. Here's a few blank pages here. And then I went from back to front and added some more napkins. Here's an example of one of the things we want to add. Let me just quickly show you the last few that I have something glued in. So here's an example of one of the things I'd like to do. This would be a quick one to do, fairly quick. Is these are cut out of I think it's the Nature color book. Now people say, well, I don't have any good color books. You can find all this online. I'm telling you, you can find stuff like this online. They have plenty of free clip art, and now it's even called free coloring book pages. Look on Pinterest, Google it. You can find these kind of images everywhere. If you can't afford a color book, you can find these images everywhere. This one's going to get glued here, and this one's going to get glued right here, kind of like that. Actually, maybe we should do this page because I already have it kind of started already. Okay, then the other thing that I want to do with this book is use this Enchanted Fairies color book, which I got at Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby sells Creative Haven color books. There are quite a many pages in there for $5.99. They take coupons. So you can use a 40% coupon on a $6 book and get it for, what does that come out to? $3.50. So you can get these color books, any of them, because Hobby Lobby will take coupons on their color books, magazines, their books, whereas Michael's does not take coupons on any books. So I got this book specifically to use in here, along with, I'll probably still use some of my Big Monster girls on some of the pages too, because I really like these girls. So again, that's the Big Monster by Juliet Crane. Okay. Yes, the crispy sound, an ASMR moment. That's right, Prisma. Go sit next to Terry, Prisma. Okay, so all right. So if I want to use, one of these girls and maybe this, or maybe, you don't have to use it all. I just picked these just for some samples. And also, don't be afraid to cut your color books down. I mean, your imagery down. Like, let's say I cut this out. I think I did, in fact, trim it already to fit in this corner. But let's say I didn't want such a big flower. Look, I could just cut this off right there. Don't be afraid. You are the boss of your color book. You can make anything, any size you want. So, in other words, and I'll just do it just for an example. So, let's just say this flower is a little big. Well, we don't have to use the whole flower. Nobody said we did. Or we could use, let's say I cut this petal off here, and you don't even have to cut along the edge. You can just trim it wherever you want. Just trim it however you want. But maybe this could be a crown, or it could be, look, it was like a mountain. That could, now I'm not usually one to save little teeny bits of stuff, but I'm just showing you if you are a little bitty saver. If you're a little bitty saver, well, you did your first fairy coloring from this book. Oh, good, Karen. Yeah, I have not. I haven't used this one yet, but I bought it specifically for this. So there you see. Now I've got a little bit more room down here, and these pages are rounded, so I will probably want to round the corner a little bit there to make it fit. Although I paint the edges out, so it doesn't really matter. So you can see that gave me this much more room to add, one of the fairy girls to. Yeah, it's like creating your own journal page. Okay. And if I want him up here, and let's just say I want him right there. Look how much is sticking off the edge. Well, if that's in the way, then we'll just trim that off. Now you don't have to trim it before you glue it. You can glue it and then trim it, but whatever. Okay, so like that. Now, again, it probably is best if you, like, let's just say you want to color, you didn't know what color you wanted to color this. I would find the page you want to put it on and match because you want to color it off the page. You don't want to glue this down and then try to color it, because you're going to be picking up all the texture. Okay? I'm going to flip through the fairy book real quick and just kind of see what I might want. See, I don't want something this big, because that's going to take up either that or not put the flower on there, or not put the bird. Either one, I just picked these out because it was a good example. So I'm just going to kind of flip through and see which one speaks to me. This one's got the poppies in it, so when I do the poppy page, she probably needs to go on the poppy page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pull this out, and so I'll remember that I want that one on the poppy page. Or we could do the poppy page. I guess it doesn't really matter. So what I'm looking for is something that I think can kind of fit. This would be kind of cool, because she could be flying from the flower and kind of up to the bird. You know what I mean? She almost looks like she's flying up to the bird. And also, see all this little flowers and things? You can use that on other pages. You could use these for stickers in your planner and turn them into stickers, or just color them and glue them in your planner with a glue stick. So none of this has to go to waste. Just because you cut something out doesn't mean everything else has to go to waste. So this is my first pick right here. Just because I like her action. This one, that would be good, because she could be feeding the bird. I might cut these two out just to test them. Of course, this one just probably wouldn't work because of the layout of the page. Due to your color coordinating your nail polish with the flower. Well, I did not do that on purpose. I painted my nails before I hit record the first record. Oh, and that's also a good one, where she's sitting on the bird. I could do that instead of the flower. And whatever I cut out and don't use today, I'll just stick it back in the book to protect it, to protect the page from getting ruined. I'm just giving you all a little flip through here so you can kind of see. Hopefully, I know it's flashed now a little bit, guys, but I think you can get the idea. We'll pick one of these. And I don't know that we're going to finish it today, But if I don't finish it, I will, when I do finish, I've got to finish my commission that I did in part 2 already today. I got to finish that today. But so this may not be finished till tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's, Hubster's birthday. It'll get finished. No, we'll see how much I get done today. But when I finish it, I will post it or show it to you on the next stream, whenever. But I'll make sure you see it. So something like that there, this here. Now what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and just kind of test. Let me see. I've got 4 of them here. She's kind of good, but if I use her, I won't use this flower because she's either that or I'll cut her off of this flower and sit her on top of this one. That may work too. I'm not sure which flower I like best. I kind of like this one because it kind of matches that as far as the line weight of this. So if I use her, I think I'll have her sitting on this flower and feeding the bird. I like that. This one, she's kind of flying up to him. Again, she may get lost in that flower, but I kind of like that. Look, that kind of looks cool how she's kind of reaching up to him, right? So this one, she's flying on a bird. I'm thinking I won't do that one because of that bird. And then here's another one sitting on the flower. This is the poppy one. I wanted to say that for the poppy. So we're down to 2. We're down to 2. Do y'all like the flying girl or the sitting feeding the bird girl? Which one of these 2 would y'all think y'all would like on this page? Her feeding the bird or flying up to the bird? I kind of like the flying up to the bird, but y'all decide. Okay, hang on, Hubsters. Messaging me. Why isn't it popping up? Oh, there it goes. Okay. Sitting girl, feeding birds, sitting flying. Okay, we've got about half and half. So I guess I'll cut them both out and we'll see. We'll see how far we get because we're going to be cutting. Okay, so I want to save those other little flowers. So I'll just do a kind of a general cutout first. I'll just do a general cutout. Then we'll fussy cut her. And I like to, when I collage, I don't, I always tell you it's best to try to tear your edges, but when we're laying it on top of something, I don't want to paint out the flower, right? So it's going to have to sit on top. So if you're layering something that's going to sit on top, sometimes you have to fussy cut. I'll save this bit. Oh, okay. Hang on, guys. He's got... Okay. All right, so saving that. All right, so I'm going to fussy cut her out. And then if I do her, though, it's either this flower, and I like this flower. So I think what I'll do is I'll just ignore the daisy behind her. And I'm not even going to try to save that. Same thing for the food in her hand. I'm not going to try to save that. I'll paint that in. Oh, whoa, 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 there's a wing. Let's not cut a wing. Let's not cut a wing. Because I'm going to have her sit on this other flower. All right, so let me just quickly... And it doesn't have to be perfect because you can blend in some, but she's going to sit on top of something. So you're just going to have to watch me fussy cut for a minute. If you have any questions or anything, just let me know. But it's... Let's see, where does her dress go? Okay, there it is. I'm trying to follow the line here from the flower to her. Because I only want to be here about an hour or so. An hour and, till about 1. Oh, Sarah said oh for something. I don't know what. Don't know what. I'm just going to fussy cut her. And just see where I want her placed. And we'll see how far we get in the coloring and painting process. I really can't expect us to get all this colored and collaged in. The fairy flight is delayed until they work on the wing. Oh, this one's not flying. She's sitting. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Eileen. Yeah. Fairy flight is delayed. She got a handful. They gave her some peanuts, right? They gave her a snack. Here's your snack while you're waiting. Good one, Eileen. She's got a little flower in her hair. Snip that little area there. You're the boss of your color book. You're the boss of your elements. You're the boss of your art journal. You can keep or cut away or add or paint over, collage over, anything you want. And I think that's part of the flower, but I like the flow of that, so I'm going to leave that as part of her dress. I think it's part of the flower, but I think I might leave it as part of her flowy dress. We'll see. I guess we decided on her. Although I like the other one too. We can place her wherever we want. Put a cup of coffee in that hand. Yeah. Well, I think the idea is she's supposed to be feeding the bird, right? She's sitting on a flower, feeding the bird. Something like around there. So I'll have to make sure that she's contrasted from the flower so that she doesn't just get faded into it. Or we can even move the flower over because we can add paint over here. It doesn't have, it can be whatever we want, right? Add a little bit more um, like that, something like that. All right. I think that's what we're going to go with. Let me move some of the stuff out of the way. I don't need all these napkins in my way. All right. So, we're zoomed in close enough. Coffee cup, you like that one too. Okay, this is the one we're going to go with. So what I'm going to do now, but I'm going to take it off of the page. I'm just going to set it over here. I can see the kind of colors in here. I can either contrast them, complement them, you know, whatever I want to do, make it work good. I see a little bit of purple. I'm liking the purple. I always seem to go to those colors. There's purple in the flower and olive green in the leaves. So I'm thinking we might do something with that. Let's set the bird aside for a minute and work on her and him. Her and the flower. You like the reaching girl? Yeah, well, she looks like she's feeding the bird. See, she's got the kind of like she's. Oh, you like the other one better? Oh, I don't know. I can't tell which one y'all like because she's sitting. I mean, I'll show you. We can cut off the other one. We'll see how much time we have, guys. We're just not going to finish. We'll probably not finish, but we'll cut them both out and test. Because I don't mind using either one. I'm just, we got 1 hour. We have 1 hour. But this will be a good one to show you a tip on cutting on things that are on the inside of something too. So this might be a good example. I'll show y'all a insider tip. Oh my gosh. Let me cut her out first. I wanted to tell American Paints are there. Yes, I saw that. Yes, I did. Get this get out of the way. Cut away things as you're doing it too. That makes it easier. Don't have to cut it all out in one piece. Just like, for instance, like right there, I could just snip that extra off and then go back in there so that you don't have to worry about like lots of hanging paper that could get in your way. Not that I don't think y'all know how to cut. Don't think that. I'm just talking out loud. Those are actually chocolate covered peanuts. No, raisins. Chocolate covered raisins. Y'all know that chocolate covered raisins is a fruit salad, right? Because the raisins are grown on a plant. And you know, it's a fruit, and the chocolate's grown on a plant. It's a fruit salad. I guess if we'll watch paint dry, we'll watch fussy cutting, won't we? Don't cut her pointy fingers right there. There's our pointy finger. We're all good. All good on the pointy finger. Get around this little bit of her wing here. Always want to turn your image as much as you can, not your scissors. Try to keep your scissors as like stable as you can and turn everything else. It just makes for a neater cut. Get around this last little bit here. And you don't have to cut out before you color either. You can color it, and then you don't have to worry about going outside the lines or anything. Just like if I was coloring her dress here, you could color right off the edge because you know you're going to cut it out. So it probably would even be easier to color before you cut out. But because we're trying to decide which image we want, we're cutting them both out. But it probably would be easier to color before you cut it out. Okay. All right, so what I wanted to show you, let me get rid of all this real quick, is when you have something like in here that you want to cut out, right in here, and you know you're going to glue this down, right? Don't try to, you can do it this way if you want. You can try to poke your scissors in there and start snipping. But you'll have a nicer, cleaner cut, And if there's a line you can follow, now I don't, her hands kind of precariously, that's not much of an attachment. If I go along that line to cut out, let's go along her shoulder line. See that line right there? I'm going to just cut right through her arm, because when you glue this back, you're not going to see that you cut through a line. And it's much easier to get a clean cut on an inside bit if you go through a line like that, rather than trying to just poke it into the center and snip, snip, snip. It's just easier to get a cleaner cut if you cut through something. Let's see what I mean here in a minute. See, it's easier to cut through the line, and then, because when you glue that back, you're not going to be able to see that. See what I mean? So it's a lot easier to cut the center out of something if you do it like that, rather than just trying to poke the scissors in and snip away. You have all that you have all that freedom to cut. You see? You have that freedom to cut if you cut through a line. It could be any line. But if I would have cut through this line, see how little paper is holding that together then? Here you got more, more, it's just more stable. Yeah. All right, so here we go. Now let's go back to here and the bird. And she's flying up like this. You almost don't need my flower now if she's going to fly up to this bird. But you see the difference in the weight? You see the weight, how light lined this is compared to this? Let's see what happens. If she's flying off of this flower, she might get lost. I guess it's going to depend on the color, because I really like the line weight behind her. So I think we need that. I think we need that. And let's see how I want him to probably be right there. So I can always trim this off if I have it hanging over the edge. All right, so y'all like this one best. Okay. We'll go with the pointy girl. So I got to decide on the flower colors first. I think I will go with a pink color. Now, I'm not necessarily going to try to match this species of flower, but I think I will try to get those same kind of colors on the flower and then contrast it with the the bird and the girl have, maybe some greens in her. But I think if we do, let me just move her out of the way for a minute. Let me move my iPad out of the way. And we can do different things. You can do some washes, which I think I'm going to go ahead and do. But you can also just color with markers, color pencils. You don't have to get too... It depends on how much time you have. I always say that when you're doing any of this kind of stuff. You can spend as much or as little time as you want. I think I'm going to cut that little leaf out. Doing your color books and or art journals as you want, or as you have time. All right, so I think I'm going to want to get, let's see, I'm going to look at my colors. I'm going to want a little bit of this corally pink. That might be too bright. Maybe not. Maybe these three. I think I'll go with these three. This looks very orange on camera, but it's corally. It's a little bit oranger than that, but it's not as orange as it's showing up on camera. That's looking very, very orange on camera. Maybe I'll just go with these two and some white. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to get a dry palette and squeeze out just a little bit. And again, I think I didn't have this closed, so it's got a paint booger in the lid. You'll know what that is, right? Where it's dried paint in there. So I just want a little. I don't need much because I'm going to do a wash. So I don't need too much paint because I'm going to water it down. That 10 hour to cut and mat something should have taken 15 minutes. Else. Oh, Jean. Oh, Jean's trying to. Jean, I'm telling you, Eileen might be right. You're going to be working on that album while you're sitting in the service, the wedding. All right. So I'm just going to set the book aside here. I'll have my colors right here so I can look at them. Let's move him out of the way. And just put these right here. And let me just spray some water in here. I just got a bottle of water, clean water. I'm just going to water down my paint. See if I can find a brush. Where's my, here we go. Have 4 projects going on at once, and when you do that, your supplies get all over the place. So I'm going to kind of wet that one down, wet this one down. So I got a couple colors of pink, right? I'm not going to be too fussy about this. What I'm going to just start with is just getting the paint on there. Just going to put the 2 colors of pink. Now, the reason you want it to be a wash, keep it wet, is that you don't want to lose all your lines, right, in a color book. You want to at least be able to see them. And if they fade to gray, you can always go back over them. But in this case, I think I almost want them kind of faded out because just add a little touch of black because there's only a little bit of touch of black on there. All right, so for right now, I'm just going to let's just get a wash of the 2 colors. And it's probably hard to see. Let's see where I want to go here. And we'll add some others on there too. Let me dry this. And the other tip is if you want to layer up paint or layer up anything really wet, you want to dry it in between. I could just go in here and add some darker layers, but the paper's going to start to pill. You want to dry your images in between. Dry, 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 dry. There's 2 things you can do, Prisma, about the black part that I just covered up. There's 2 things you can do. You can be very fussy and just paint, leave the very dark black. My preference is paint over the whole thing because the way that pencils stick to acrylic paint, it's going to be very easy just to go in here with, let me find a black pencil. Just go in with the black pencil and cover it up. Now, if you want every single line dark, dark black, then maybe this wash technique is not something you want to do. Maybe you want to go in there with just markers, let's say, and be more, because markers are not, if you go in here with your Crayola markers at the beginning, you're not going to lose those dark black lines. But remember, in this case, there's no lines in this. See, there's no line work in here. So even making the line work kind of fade out a little bit and just maybe have a couple of black areas, might be beneficial. It's all going to depend, guys. There's no hard, fast rule. There's no hard, fast rule to any of this. It just depends on the look you want, how much time you want to take. I mean, you can go back over it with a marker over every single one of those lines if you want. You can go back over every single line, trace everyone out, or not do this technique. Totally up to you. How much time you want to spend. We'll see where it goes. I don't plan it out that much. I like to let's see what happens, because I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to just go for it. If it doesn't turn out, who cares? It's a piece of paper, for goodness sake, and a little bit of acrylic paint. If you start stressing over a color book, oh, no, 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 no. Oh my goodness, you're so funny, Prisma. All right, so now I could do a couple different things. I could, because this is a little bit lighter and a bit darker. See, it does look more peach on camera. That's why I kind of wanted to add the peach. It looks more peach on camera. This is much more closer in real life than it looks here. You're seeing a lot of this peach color that really is not as peachy in real life. It's more pink. But let's just go with the peach just for the sake of peachy. Let me find a pencil. Hang on, let me look. I gotta find kind of a peach color here. My pencils are all over the place. There's kind of a pink, but it's not orange enough. Let's see what's this one. All right, let's just try a couple here. So you can go in here, depending on how much time you want to take, and play with. That's too much the same. No, I need something that's going to contrast for the camera. That's too much the same too. Everything's too much the same. Let's try a henna. Yeah, let's try a henna. Too much the same color. Get a phone call. Looks like the watered down paint doesn't. No, it doesn't. Not if, it doesn't much. And by the time you glue this down, it's not wrinkly. But two things. One, it's a quick wash. I'm not I'm not taking and I'm not saturating the paper. You know what I mean, Vern? I'm not getting it so wet and then adding another layer of wet. That's why I said you got to dry in between. All right, so let me test out this color. That's too red. Oh, let's see. Let's try that's too red too. Let's try a marker. Let's try something different here. But again, guys, this looks much different in color. In person, it's very much more the same. But it's the way of it on camera. Let's try this pink. Let's try this. I think this one's more of a peach color. I'm just picking out a couple of markers out of my Crayola Bag O markers. Maybe the orange is going to be too orange. There's actually no orange, the true orange in this. It's like a coral color. But I don't want to. Yeah, that'll work. So I'm going to just take some marker and maybe go over all the areas that have shading. See how it has shading already? The lines. That's why you don't want to do full-on solid acrylic paint, because you'll cover up all those lines. If you just do a wash, you're not going to cover them up. So I'm just going to add another shade of pink over all the shaded lines. Not trying to do a lot of blending here, although you can go back in there with more pencil and more shading and more blending. I have 30 minutes left. I have 30 minutes that I want to finish this page, and I still have to paint everything in. So, yeah. Because I want to show y'all some, even if we don't get 100% finished on things, you get a good start. You can use your imagination to, work out how some of the details you would like in a page. I always try to show you the finished ones, either here or on a photo, but just a little bit like that. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more in some of those dark photos. I'm not trying to stay in the lines. I'm just adding a little bit in there. Okay, I'm liking it. See? So we've gone from something like this to this in like 2 minutes. Again, you don't have to hurry. You don't have to go as fast as me, because I'm trying to do it all on a stream, right? You can take more time, color much more precisely. Something like that. Now I'm not sure how much different this one's even going to be. Let's just test it out. Okay, it turns out it's a little bit lighter actually. It looks like it would be a darker color by the cap, but it's actually a lighter pink. So I'm just going to add a little bit more, blend in a little bit like that. Just add a little bit more color. Not maybe a few of those lines. To make it like because this looks like a watercolor, right? And no, I'm not going to use Eileen's nice watercolor pens on this. We can do that when I have more time, because I want to, if I'm going to use those expensive watercolors, they're going to be like, it's going to be a full-on nice something, not just a color book page. Not that there's anything wrong with that. All right, so that's good enough. I want to get this glued down, and then we can add some more stuff if we need to. All right, so let's see how this looks so far. Move the paint out of the way so I don't stick the ribbon in there. So we are kind of, this looks so orange, guys. It's hard to fathom how different, when I look at the camera, how different that color looks. And when I'm looking at it right here, you can hardly tell the difference in color. But on camera, it looks, I'm gonna have to add something else to it in the painting process. All right, so there's that. Now her, like I said, I wanted her to have some of the olive green in it. Okay, so let's just kind of sit this right off to the side. Let's get another dry palette. It doesn't have pink in it because I want some, I think I'm going to want some of the olive green. Again, I don't need much. And I think I want some mint. And again, it's probably going to look different on camera, but there's like a mint green in there. A little bit of mint green. So I think I'll go with mint. I think it's called pistachio mint. Pistachio mint and olive green for the fairy girl. Other than her skin, which we're going to color, we'll color her a peachy color. Oh, I'm going to use them. I'm just not going to use them up because color book pages are so porous, guys. Unless you do like Terry said, and we tested out, put some on the acrylic block and use them. It soaks right in. You can't. They won't blend. They won't blend when you put the two together on just paper. Like it's not Bristol. It's just like copy paper, very little bit thicker than copy paper, and it soaks right in. It won't blend. You have to do something like we did earlier on an acrylic block or your craft mat or anything non-porous and blend it in that way. But when we have 30 minutes, we really can't do that in 30 minutes. Okay, so now let's see. Where's my water bottle? We're going to water down these two colors too. Get a brush here. And let's kind of decide. I think let's start with some watered down mint color for her wings. Again, you can't be rub with water. If you want to layer up water, anything water medium, anything wet, you're going to have to dry this and then add another layer. Otherwise, your paper is going to start to pill. It's going to start to fall apart. Okay, so I'm going to do her wings. And then I'm going to do her stomach is showing. I need a big, I should get a smaller brush here. I'll go with this. In an olive color. And again, it probably would be much easier for you to do this before you cut it out, but let it dry. You're not going to be able to cut on wet paper, but I just kind of want a watercolory look. Go around her arm there. Not worried about getting it on the flowers because we can pencil in those. So I just want the initial olive green on the cloth, on the whole scarf and everything. Light coat. Now I'll go back after I dry it. Okay. I know it's hard to see. It's hard to see a distinction between those two. I can see it, but on camera it's not really showing up. Dry, and then add another layer. Oh, okay. Terry. Now I'm going to go back with the olive again, and I can add another coat. And you can kind of be more fussy where it goes and how thick you want to put it on, how many lines you want to cover up or keep. You'll see it when you do it. You'll see it when you do it, how much you're covering up and how much you're keeping. I want it to have kind of that watercolory look, right? Which we're going to do some with Eileen's. We're going to do some ink drawings and use Eileen's markers. I call them Eileen's markers because she sent them to me. Let me make a little bit more water here. Okay, so that's good on there. Now let me, oh, I want a little bit more up here. All right, let me add a little bit more mint, another layer of mint. Then we got to dry it again. Especially dry, you have to have it really, 100% dry before you start shading with pencil, because pencil will tear it, tear damp paper. All right, so there we go. All right, let me dry that. And see, this is why you need a desk journal handy, so you can scrape this paint off. I think I'm going to scrape it onto here, but let me dry her first. You can turn it over. You want it real, real dry before you start adding color pencil. And I know I repeat that, but it's just so important. All right, so I'm going to do something with the bird real quick. What color do I want the bird? You know what? I'm just going to go with green too. If I took a little more time to think it out, but we're just going to go with a green bird. Maybe she's, he's part fairy or she's part bird. I like the purple one we did. We're just going to go with it. So I'm just going to add a couple of both colors here just to get a base on there. I'll just go ahead and put something on the branch too, because I'll probably color that in. All right, let me dry. Look, let's dry him. Oh, gee. All right, dry and dry. Now I'm going to move all my elements to the side for a minute. And I'm going to start, I need some wax paper. So I'll glue my two pages together. The backs, rather. I'll put behind the page so that you don't glue the pages together. I'm stepping on a pencil. Pencils everywhere on my floor. Just so I can kind of maneuver the wax paper around the edges as I paint the edges. So I'm going to go ahead and use the rest of this paint up. I'm going to need a little bit more pink, I think. Nah, that should be enough. All right, if I just wet it down enough, I should have enough to go around. We'll see. Might need some more paint. He's a budgie. Yeah, he could be, right? All right, so let's see. I'm going to start with the green. I'm going to just pick up both colors of green. And I'm just going to start. I am going to need more paint. I can tell already. I'm going to start blending in the edges of the green napkin. See how I want to keep it like, see how it's kind of watery looking? But where it comes off the edge, where the napkin comes off the edge, you probably will need a little thicker where the green paint goes. I got so many supplies right around me. What did I do with the green? There it is. When you go, when you're trying, this is why I always say to tear rather than cut. But on a napkin, you can't really do that. You can sort of tear, but it's real tricky. You got to take a lot of time to tear a napkin unless you wet the edge. And I just don't take that much time on a napkin, right? But you can do that if you want. Otherwise, you're going to need to thicken up the paint on the edge. See how that looks? Let me show you. See where the edge of the napkin is? If I put thick paint, it goes away. So I'm just going to thicken up the paint on edges. And this is why I've got the wax paper between this and the next page. I don't care if paint gets on the next page, but I don't want to, if I get this thick paint on the edge, it's going to stick those two pages together. All right. So I'm going to come down here. And I'm just finger painting it because it keeps it kind of more natural, keeps it more flowy. But you don't have to do that. You can use a paintbrush. Okay. So right now I'm just going all around the edges of the flowers. Okay, now I do need a little bit more of the mint. I tried to make it go as far as it could with the water. Yeah, dry with the water bottle. So I'm going to cover up most all of the journal page, the original, what do you call it, calendar page. I'm covering up pretty much all of it with just washes of these two greens, the mint green and the olive green. And if a little bit shows through, that's fine. I'm going to keep moving my wax paper around the edge here. So there, that whole side's done as far as the green. Okay. So now, let me move my ink gun. Let's come over here, pick up some of the mint green, and just kind of go in between there. Everything's still wet. All the paint's still wet. So just kind of, it will blend, 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 blend. All right, so there we go with the green. Now I'm going to dry this. Yeah, keeps it organic. Exactly. Might need a little bit of mint just in here just to kind of carry that in. Carry that mint color around. But it keeps it like a watercolory look, right? Maybe a little more mint right in there. And it takes a little longer to dry on the napkin because it's textury, you know. I'll get some blobs out there. That's pretty good. Oh, this edge here. Okay, so now I'm not going to be doing anything else to the edge, so I'll move my wax paper out of the way. I just want to make sure I wasn't gluing this edge to the next paper, right? All right, so let's kind of flatten it out a little there. Let me get a baby wipe for my hands. All right, so let's just lay it out and see what we got, see what else we want to add. Okay. So let's get our bits here. They're curled a little bit, but when you glue them down, they're going to be perfectly flat, right? You can just kind of smooth them out in the meantime. So he's going to go up here. This is going to go over. Oh, I do have a blob of paint still there. Let's dry that up there. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to end up doing though after this is glued down is I'm going to add some more paint to it, right? But I want her to be colored and blended first. So if there's anything I want to add to her, like her skin and stuff, I'm going to go ahead and do that off. Now, like I said, I'm going to try to blend some of this into the background because I just really want flowers back there. It doesn't necessarily have to, um, I'm not worried about it, but you can take as much time as you want. Let me find a couple of pencils to show you what I mean. Let me move my paint a little. You could take more time and go in here with your, colors, pink, white, coral, whatever, and start really doing like a full-on color book element, right? You can go in here and start shading and blending and coloring. If you want to bring those black lines back out, you can do that. I don't know why I'm talking like this. Oh, but anyway, so let me just do a few so you can see here. So you can start shading and blending as much as you want. It's going to flash out on me there. Let me try to bring down the color. It's wanting to flash out on me. I think you can see the white. You can do that as much as you want. Start shading, blending. Take as much time with all the elements as you want. Okay? But in this case, all I really want to worry about, I'm going to add a little bit on the bird and some on her. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time because I've only got 20 minutes. So I'm going to do this real quick. But I want you to see the full finished thing as if I can. So now I'm just going to take color pencil and just start. I'm going to color her in very, very quickly, comparatively speaking, for, taking time to do a color book page. And just pretty much quickly color her, depending on how much time you want to take. So I got a light coat of a darker color. I mean a soft coat. Do her foot down here. Then I'm going to take a lighter peach and just kind of quickly blend that in. Take as much time as you want. I'm doing it kind of quick just to show you. Go back with a little bit darker here and there. See a little bit of shading, not a lot of work there. Again, that's her hair right there. You're not going to see where we cut her arm when she's glued down. All right, now I think I want some pretty blonde hair. So I'm just going to go ahead and just color her whole hair. You could do this with a wash. I'm just going to put a light coat of yellow. And then I'll get some yellow ochre or goldenrod. I can find it. Quickly coloring a little bit of yellow. Let's add a little bit more shadow on our forehead there. Okay, now I'm going to go in with an olive green and a lime green. But I want a mint green if I can find it. If I can find my mint green and my olive green. Let me see if I can find them real quick. There's an olive. I know I have a minty green. This one might be too dark, but we're going to test this out because we're running out of time. It's got a little bowl here with a couple of pencil sharpeners in it. Because when I lean over to sharpen over the trash can, I always bump the camera. Y'all still with me? I know I'm rushing through this. Oh, you know what? I wanted to do those flowers yellow too. Let's get the yellow and the yellow ochre back. I wanted these little flowers to be yellow. With a little bit of yellow ochre. Just quick little lilies or flowers, just because I want them a different color than, I don't want them to get lost in the pink. So we'll have hers be the same color as her hair. Now I'm going to take my, I know you can't see very well, guys, what I'm doing. As far as, I'm not zoomed in on the tiny bits, but I want the overall book just y'all to be able to see. So I'm just going to add a little bit of shading with the olive green. Take as much time as you want. Shade, shade, shade. I'm trying to hurry so I can get this done in 10 minutes. Were you with me? Okay. So just go along the folds of the fabric a little bit. All you that color, you know how much time you can spend. All right, now on her, the little details on the wings, I'm going to go in there with olive. And then I'm going to just kind of add some of the mint green. That might be too dark. I have a lighter mint green somewhere. Because I want to get it glued in and blended in for you before we run out of time. Maybe this was a little too ambitious to do in an hour and a half. Edges. But that'll be a fun Friday project. Don't forget, Barb's coming on at 2, and she's going to be interviewing the frugal crafter, Lindsay. That's about in an hour and 15 minutes. So if somebody wants to put Barb's link in, feel free. Stickles. Oh, that would be good, Carrie. And also, that is a good thing to remind you, too. If you do put stickles or any kind of glitter, you want to do it at the very end because you don't want to, you have to let it dry overnight. Stickles. Okay, now let me see if I can add a little, how minty is that? It's not, it's okay. We'll go with it. It kind of matches the paint I'm using, so I just want a little bit of shading with the mint. Kind of a minty green in there. Light touch, I'm just a nice light touch. You can always go in here and blend out with a darker or lighter color or white or, whatever. I'm just kind of doing a little hurry color in here. Oh, that needs to be olive under there. You can kind of see a little bit of shading. It's kind of wanting to flash out, but all right, that's all I'm going to do right now. You can spend much more time with shading and like where's the darker green, like a gray green in here, and really spend the time shadowing and shading and highlighting. around the little flowers. Gives them a little bit more depth. Her shirt. I hope that's her hair on that side. Her hair. And add more shadow in the little bits of detail. Trying to hurry and still make it look good. Where's my green? Again, you know, I am rushing to get this done because I want to get them glued in, dried, and painted in. Can y'all see something? If I hold it up to the camera, it's wanting to flash out. All right. There you go. Now you can see a little color. All right, let's go ahead and get gluing. Let's get to gluing. All right, so I'm gonna get a piece of my wax paper back, and on the make sure there's not wet paint there. Turn it over, and I'm going to start gluing down. Now to glue these in, I'm just going to use my Eileen's Tacky. I think this one's almost out. I have to open another one. So I'm just I put a big wad of glue. I'm not, you know, I put a lot of glue, but don't leave it like this. Don't leave it all in a row. You want to smooth that out. And it does take a little bit more glue to glue on napkins than it does on just a flat journal page. So you might have to add extra glue, especially around the edges. Just smooth it out because otherwise you're going to have a lumpy flower or a lumpy fairy. We don't want any lumpy fairies. All right, so I'm just going to kind of set it there for just a second. I'm not going to push it down until I decide kind of exactly where I want her. I'll pull that down. Okay, right there. All right, so now I'm going to just glue that down. I'm hoping you're getting the idea, guys. I mean, again, take as much time as you want. Take all day. Take days if you want, depending on how much time you have. All right, so I'm just making sure that's nice and glued down. And even after a while, sometimes the edges will come up a little bit on a napkin. You'll just have to go back with, you know, little Eileen's Tacky or whatever kind of glue you like and put that underneath of it. All right, now this has got all kinds of glue on it, so I'm going to fold that up, make sure I have a nice clean spot there. Put the bird. I'm going to put a bird on it. And again, we could add more detail on the bird too. You still can add some with a marker or something, but it's hard to color pencil. It's hard to color pencil once they're glued down because it's bumpy. It's bumpy on the napkin, right? So you really want to do as much of the coloring as you can because you don't want to have to fight the bumpy, you know, dimension of a napkin to color well. All right, so now let's move that out of the way. I'll come back over here and put him right where we wanted him. And if it goes off the edge, that's okay. I'll just trim it. And I'm going to paint that stem in and all that. Okay, a little bit of extra glue there. I need a little bit of extra glue right there. I can tell somewhere right there. Let me add a little bit more glue. Thanks everybody for hanging out today. Might need some more on that stem. All right, so we got him. All right, let me get that other piece of wax paper. Let's put it on the back of our little fairy girl. quite a bit of glue, but I'm going to, like, wipe it out. Now, be careful when you do that with this thicker glues. When you take your finger and, smear it out to the edge, hold on to it well so you're not going to tear anything. Because some of these little tiny edges could be very easy to tear. So, just kind of take your time, work off all the edges, and you can always go in once you lay it down on the page and go back in and, put glue on anything you might have missed. Okay, so there she is. Move that out of the way. And I wanted her kind of right. I wanted her face kind of right. Let's get her so she fits right where I wanted her. I'll just cut that a little bit off. Okay, I've got her laid down. Now let me roll this excess glue off my hands. You're welcome, Vicki. Thanks for being here. Thanks all of y'all for being here for as long as you can. We're about wrapping it up. I'm going to do a couple little details. And so I hope y'all enjoyed today. Go enjoy Barb's stream. All right, so let me... Oops, she's got a little wrinkle in her there. Let's fix that. Smooth her out. Gently, gently, gently. Take more time. Don't have to rush putting her down there. There we go. Smooth her out. Working from the inside out. And again, there's some little bits right here that are not glued down. Just tuck a little bit on the edges. There's a couple little pieces that are hanging over the edge, very little tiny bits. I'll just cut those off. Need a little bit more glue right here. And now her little toe needs glued down. Where's Linda? A little fairy foot. All right. Oh, this needs some glue right here. You want it all glued down, because if you don't glue it down well, it's going to tear eventually. Happy to visit with me. Oh, well, thanks, Pam. I'm glad you're here. You spent the whole day here. I'm surprised you didn't have to get some sleep, girl. All right. Just get up any excess glue. All right, so now we got that pasted down. Now there's a couple things we can do. First off, we want to dry it, because you've wet the back of this paper with glue. So if you try to do anything on top, here's some more little area here. You're trying to work on wet paper. Even though it's on the back side of the paper, it's still wet. So you really need to dry this. I think I'll maybe just go right to the stick. Well, I wanted to shade a little. Dang, we're running out of time. I sucked you into my world. Because I can see a couple little bits on the flower, and the bird's beak is not glued down well. But there's a couple things you can do. One is, if you want your flowers to blend in more to the background, all you have to do is take your paint and start kind of going over the tops of it. Like right in here. Let me get a little more green. Hang on, I got to get a little bit more paint out because I used it up. If you just want it to blend in to the background, you can kind of just, don't glue your pages together. I have my wax paper here, but you can start blending in the imagery that you already glued down and kind of blend it in. Now, this is not covered with matte medium, so you got to be aware of where you're going with this paint, because you can easily just cover everything up. But just see how that little edge, adding just a little paint to that edge, kind of blended it in a little bit. You can add that little bit of wherever. You really only needed it right there. Maybe a little bit of pink. You can add a little bit of pink right along the edge just to kind of soften the edge. See how that kind of blended it into the background a little bit? And you take time to do this. You got to kind of take your time to kind of play and blend and you know, seeing what I mean. See what I mean, Vern? How that just kind of blended that in. If you get too much while it's wet, you can move it a little bit, but it's not going to go away like it would on matte medium. Okay, you could do the same thing on her dress. You could add a little bit of paint in the dress, make it more flowy. You know, the other thing you can do is shadow. Oh wait, let me go over here with the bird area here. Let me blend in a little bit of the flower here. It's too much. I go with a little darker green. And just with a baby wipe is the best way to kind of feather in things. Okay, you can feather things in with a baby wipe. Is that showing up? So just kind of blend that. Same thing with some flowers here. Can kind of blend them in some more. I'm just doing this with my finger, just kind of making it soft and watercolory on some of the edges. See? And you know, it will take a little practice, and you may think, oh, I messed up that edge, but you won't know unless you try. You're never going to be able to know if you can just do this like, and you don't have to do it this fast either, of course. But you won't know if you can do it if you don't try. If you don't just stick your finger in the paint and start spreading it around, you know? See? Maybe it needs a little more pink right here. It doesn't have to necessarily be a flower petal. Just because it's a watercolor look, you can just throw some paint on there and it'll look like it's all a big watercolor background. All right, let me dry it, and then I want to show you you can shade a few things. You can splatter it. I'm not going to. And then we're going to put a little stickles on it. Praise my. And again, the bird really could use some more detailing. But I think you can get the idea of what you can do, right? I hope y'all got the idea what you can do. Take a little more time. But all right, so for instance, around her, you can do a couple things. I would just recommend just taking a little bit of, let's go with a gray. Let's go with a dark gray. I don't really want black because we've kind of muted out the blacks. But I'm just going to take a bit of dark gray. It could be whatever color. And you can do it with pencil too. But remember, it's lumpy bumpy. Lumpy bumpy. Let me get a brush here. Let's see. That's right there. There we go. That one will work. And I'm just going to take a tiny bit of paint. Could be whatever shadow. You can do dark green, whatever. But I just want to kind of add just a little bit of shadow to it. And I don't want it to look like there's a real shadow, almost like just a little bit of a wash. Just to kind of define. I don't even know if you can see that. Let me wet this down. Just a little bit along the edge, just to kind of, can you see that difference that makes? But again, remember, before you start doing anything else to this, now we're going to have to dry it again. Because we're adding water to it again. And you want it subtle. Don't make a line really. You just want just a little bit of, see how subtle that is? It could have been a purple. It could have been, I just used a gray. But, you just want a little bit of a definition there. See under her arm there? Same thing over here for the bird. Maybe just a little bit of shadow. Don't surround them. Don't go all the way around it because then it'll look like they're in a cave. You just want a little bit just so you can say, oh, well, there's a little bit of something different there. And blend it. Something like that. Just a little bit. Okay, now let me dry this. Then we're going to get the stickles and we'll be done. Even though the bird really needs some more. Ah, you really need to do a branch right there. Let's see. Let me get a. Oh, what color do I want? I can almost just. Let me just use the gray for now. Just to put a. I want a branch. I'm just going to use the gray, but I just kind of want a branch right here. And again, paint it in better later. You know, maybe there's one coming over here. Maybe one coming down. You can do this. Kind of feather it out so you can't really see where the branches are. Just a little bit of real light. Whoops, I ran my finger through the green. There we go. Just a little bit of, it's not quite dry there. Can you kind of just see, you can take and just make some subtle branches, maybe even come across the page there. Get in the crack of the spine. More water. You can go back and you know, do more detail on the branches here, but I just kind of want to carry this over. Let's do a quick little tree branch coming across. See, it's kind of subtle, watercolory looking. And we can do more of that, but my paper really needs to be dry, 100% dry. But I'm going to leave just like that for now. So, but you can see where we're going with it, right? You know what I mean, Vern? Can you see? Hope you can see. Just add as much or as little of these little things as you want. All right, but we're running out of time. So what I'm going to do real quick is get some stickles and we'll stop. Let's see what colors we might need. Some minty green. Let's see which ones I got here. One of these has got some minty green in it. I got to dig around see which ones are empty. I keep them in these little. Gosh, that's flashed out, guys. Wow. Oh well. Let's see about. Whoops. This green, I think. Some green. A little bit of pinky peach. Get some yellow. Something for her hair. I think there's a little bit in there. I'm not sure. And a little bit of pink of some kind. It's all purples. I'm looking for a pink or a peach. Ah, I think I found one. Thanks, guys. Let's see if there's one in some of this. I kind of need to buy a new pink, it looks like. Well, we can use clear, too. Let's try one of these. One of these will work. All right. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do this kind of quick so I can get these things to work. I have to get a needle out. Yeah. Hang on. Go find a needle. I haven't used some of these colors in a long time. There we go. So I'm going to just kind of follow some of the dark contours of the bird. Not trying to get every line. But just a little bit and give everybody a little bit of glow. A little bit of glitter. Makes me want to art all day. Aw, Carrie. Well, thanks everybody for joining me. You need to smack this one down on the table to clear it out. And then that usually clears the tip out. There we go. All right. Just a little bit there. Well, I don't know about this one. This one's got some thick glitter. Just going to add a little bit on the, I would pick one that's going to be fussy. Let's get our hair done. Okay, this green's going to be a pain right now, and we're going to run out of time. So let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can get some yellow. Let's get it started at least. Some yellow on her hair. All right, let's try the clear. Clear will be fine too, because there we go. It will show the color underneath, so that will work. If you have to buy one stickle, buy a clear one. This one's called Diamond. Buy something clear, because whenever color you go over it, it's going to show that color through it. All right, so I'm just going to add a little bit on her outfit. I'm not going to color. I don't want her solid glittery. I just want a little bit on my, the folds of the fabric. So I'm going to add a little bit of glitter, and when I hold it up to the camera and turn it, you'll be able to see a little bit of glitter. Maybe a little bit on the wings. Very quickly. Don't have to do it this fast. Take your time. It'll give us a start though. You'll be able to see a start. I think that's good. You can do the flowers too. We'll talk about doing maybe around the centers. Let's see if this one's going to work. Let me put a needle to. I might just use the clear all the way around. Everyone needs a little sparkle. That's right. Okay, let me just use the clear. I need to clean those out. Let's just use some clear. I just want them around the centers. Just maybe a little bit. Just so you can kind of see it. That's good for now. Okay. Move this out of the way. Come on, guys. Got to clear a space. Right. Let me put that needle away. Where'd it go? Where'd the needle go? Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh, I need to put the needle away. All right. So, there is our little fairy color page with some little bit of painting, and there she is, glitter. There we go. So hopefully, let me back out and try to readjust the color. Get some focus here, guys. Focus. There, now you can see the whole page. See the whole page. Well, it was a quick one. I'll be the first to admit we rushed through it. You can go back and add more shading, more blending, take more time with each of the coloring elements. But I just wanted to show you how to do it. So you can take as long as you want to blend and color and add more vines and branches. Take more time to shade her, But at least you get the idea of how to use a napkin. How to use a napkin in the journal with color book elements. And again, sorry, it looks way different in color, but in person, that is not orange at all. That's hot pink. That's hot pink in person. So I don't know why it looks orange on camera, but it is what it is. So yeah, guys. So you can see how we blended around the edges. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. And I hope y'all have a good weekend. You're welcome. Yeah, got Hubster's birthday weekend. So thanks, guys, for being here. And I'll try to get everything uploaded to YouTube next hour or so. And you're welcome, Maureen. Hi, by the way. Hope everybody has a good weekend. If I miss saying hello to you, I didn't mean to. Don't forget on Monday and Tuesday we'll have Happy Mail. And we'll see what else trouble we can get into. Right, Terry? Right, Prisma? Okay, guys. Bye.